This is a little Anglican History 101. Maybe you've heard this, that the Anglican Church was founded because King Henry VIII wanted a new wife. No. That's not what happened. I want to share that with you because too often we let the tweet version of history determine what really happens, or determine what happened in our own minds to excuse us from not really approaching the truth of God sometimes. So where did the Anglican Communion come from? Well, Anglican just means from England. Anglo, England, Anglicana. So we find references to the Ecclesia Anglicana much further back in history. Even in the Magna Carta in the 1200s, it says that the Church of England, the Ecclesia Anglicana, shall be free. So the church in England is much older than Henry VIII. As a matter of fact, none of the clergy, the bishops, the priests, or the deacons, in the time of the Reformation under Henry VIII, his son Edward, or Mary, or Queen Elizabeth, or King James, or King Charles, really ever thought that they were part of something new or different. They didn't think that way. You do have that period of time in the middle of the 1600s where the king and the bishops and the parliament and all that stuff is radically put away, and the Book of Prayer is put away. But then with the restoration of the monarchy in 1660 with King Charles II, they restore the prayer books and the bishops, and they continue on with what they had beforehand. The apostolic succession through the laying on of hands never ceased. It didn't stop in that period. It just was secret. It was underground, so to speak. Go back before the Magna Carta. Is there a church in England? It's there. Let's go back to, let's say, Anselm of Canterbury. One of the big arguments about the existence of God. That's the Church of England. The church in England and of, the whole history is connected. So we can go further back to Augustine of Canterbury, 597. We can go back before him to the churches in Britain and in Ireland. There are even medieval legends that talk about Joseph of Arimathea, who was a tin merchant and was taking the tin from Ireland and having it shipped there to Egypt and other parts of the Middle East, bringing the gospel into England, what we would call England. So did Henry VIII start the church in England? No. Did he bring reforms in the Church of England? He did. Did he create Protestant reforms like what happened under his son Edward? No. Henry was very conservative when it came to his religious beliefs. I'm not saying he was a moral man by any stretch of the imagination, but he was very conservative religiously. His son was young, so the handlers behind the throne influenced a lot of reform. His sister, who's affectionately called Bloody Mary, she takes all of England back to the Catholic Church, and they get a absolution from the Pope for leaving the Roman Catholic Church. And well, Mary dies, and the same day her archbishop dies, and then her sister Queen Elizabeth takes the throne. Elizabeth has the 40-year reign of the middle way of saying, no, we're holding to our Catholic history. Not Roman, but Catholic. Because the word Catholic didn't come from Rome, it comes from Ignatius of Antioch, writing in the early 100s, who was discipled by Peter, Paul, and Barnabas, and many of the early apostles. So the Catholic Church is that mystical body of Christ. And it just so happens that to be Anglican is to be part of that Catholic body whose history comes from England, not Henry VIII.